Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my dream cast for the Last Hours series by Cassandra Clare. So I've spent my time researching for this video. I have looked at other people's fan casts, I have looked at Tumblr edits, and I've even spoken to my friends about who they think would make the best choices for this important and vital casting video. Safe to say, I like to think I've come up with a pretty comprehensive casting. That being said, I do understand that everyone reads books differently, so if these actors and actresses don't look like the characters that you are imagining in your head, please leave a comment below with your favourite alternative. I would love to see who you are picturing in your head as you read these books and as we prepare for the release of Chain of Iron in T-1 month. Okay, let's start with Daddy Will. So in the Last Hours, our favourite Welsh bad boy with the softest heart is actually 43, which sadly means my Infernal Devices fan cast of Will of Aaron Taylor-Johnson doesn't fit his description anymore. However, I think everyone is in agreement that the only person who could play older Will is none other than Henry Cavill. All you have to do is watch Enola Holmes and you can see Daddy Will in HD on your laptop screen. Like seriously, look, these are just from the film. As I have grown up, I have also started to notice that young Henry Cavill also could play a young Will, but part of me will always have Aaron Taylor-Johnson as my younger Will Herondale. From father to son, and we have one of the main protagonists from the Last Hours series, James Herondale. And for James, I'm going to say none other than Timothée Chalamet. Yes, I get it, Timothy is nowhere near as strong and muscly as James Herondale is, but honestly, I cannot fault the rest of Timothy for this part. So James is said to be beautiful and lovely, his pale white skin luminous and clear, his long curling black hair usually dishevelled. Look at this edit of Timothée Chalamet and tell me this is not James Herondale looking right back at you. Timothée Chalamet also has that edgy, dark academia, broody nerd thing going on, which to be honest is James Herondale to a T. Sticking with the Herondale family, and my choice for Tessa hasn't changed from my Infernal Devices one. Well, I guess it kind of helps that she's immortal. So in my Infernal Devices Dreamcast, I chose Kaya Scodelario as my perfect Tessa. I still do think that Kaya is the perfect Tessa in my opinion, and you can find out why in my video, so go and watch that after this. However, recently I have also been impartial to a dark-haired Lily James as Tessa, and recently I've seen more and more edits on Tumblr using a dark-haired Lily to play Tessa. But yeah, Kaya Scodelario or dark-haired Lily James either works in my opinion as Tessa Grey, Tessa Herondale, Tessa Carstairs, Herondale, one of the most underrated characters in the whole of the Shadowhunter Chronicles, who I'm sick of people just reducing her to romantic relationships with Will and Jem, whatever you want to call her. So on to the final member of the Herondale family in the Last Hours, and that is the queen herself, Lucy Herondale. I've seen a few different casting choices for Lucy. Some people cast Taylor Hill, aka the Victoria's Secret model, but I'm still a bit on the fence. I feel like she looks a bit too old to be playing Lucy, but my favourite actress to play Lucy is Mackenzie Foy. Yes, this is Renesmee from Breaking Dawn Part 2, all grown up, and god do I feel so old right now. But I did some digging and she actually did a film with Timothée Chalamet, and I found this screenshot from the film and I was like, that is a younger James and a younger Lucy just hanging out, albeit in a more modern setting of a Jeep. Also, when she was younger, Mackenzie Foy did do the Nutcracker, and I'm sorry, but is this not just younger Lucy walking through the forest and finding Ghost Jessie for the first time? I think it is. With Lucy Herondale, of course, comes Jessie Blackthorne. I found Jessie quite hard to fan cast, and I saw a lot of people actually use Timothy as Jessie Blackthorne, but for me, Timothy is like the ultimate James. I don't think that will ever change. I also always imagined Jessie's hair to be a lot straighter in comparison to James's dishevelled locks. And remember, when Jessie's in his ghost form, not like he's never not in his ghost form, but we never know what's going to happen in Chain of Iron. He's always dressed in white shirt sleeves and black trousers. So I decided on Hero Finds Tiffin, who has already been used in a few fan edits on Tumblr. I'm not 100% on this choice, but honestly I tried so hard to find the perfect Jessie Blackthorne, and Hero was by far the best of the bunch. So you might recognise him as the younger version of Voldemort from Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I don't know what I want you to do with that information, but I just thought you should know it anyway. So from Jessie Blackthorne to Grace Blackthorne. Like Jessie, Grace's fan casting took me a while. For me, Grace isn't a pretty character as such, she is more striking. So I had to find someone who is beautiful, but not like stereotypically beautiful, if that makes sense. According to her description, Grace is said to possess extraordinary beauty. She has pale blonde hair, white rosy skin, thick and dark eyelashes, and grey eyes. Obviously, one person having all of these traits was neon impossible to find, because as much as we like to think they are real, we have to remind ourselves that these are in fact fictional characters. So in the end, I decided on Anya Taylor-Joy. I'm not sure if anyone has actually suggested Anya before. I did see a lot of fan castings use models, which is something that I don't like to do in my fan castings, because I feel like if you're ever going to make an edit, it's easier to pick like an actor or an actress. Quite a lot of people did cast Elle Fanning, but I thought her features were a bit too soft and she was a bit too stereotypically pretty for our Ice Queen herself. Anya is striking. I don't know if you guys have seen The Queen's Gambit, but I literally could not take my eyes off her. So for me, Anya with blonde hair is the perfect Grace Blackthorne. From Grace to Grace's new housemate in Chain of Iron, none other than the underrated character who I hope gets more page time in Chain of Iron, Ariadne Bridgestock. So for Ariadne, I chose Neelam Gill. So Neelam is in fact Sikh Indian. Her grandparents were born in India and are from Punjab. I saw a few edits using Neelam as Ariadne and I was like, this is perfect. She's pretty much how I imagined Ariadne in my head. Of course, with Ariadne comes Anna Lightwood, the fabulous heartbreaker who I would let break my heart over and over again. At first, like a lot of people, I chose Ruby Rose for this role. I feel like she's got that perfect mix of masculinity and femininity. However, I do feel like she is a bit old for this part now. So instead, I chose Ben de Vries, who has been used on Tumblr a few times as Queen Anna Lightwood. She doesn't necessarily have Anna's jet black Herondale hair, but she is giving me Anna Lightwood energy, especially in these pictures. So from Anna Lightwood to her brother, Christopher Lightwood. And for me, there was only one actor for him. I can already predict the reaction that some of you are going to say to this name, especially if you like the Marvel movies, but Tom Holland is just the perfect Christopher for me. I have seen Tom Holland being used as Christopher in lots of fan edits, so I do really feel like he fits the bill. I mean, he's perfect. He even has the glasses. I feel like we don't necessarily know that much about Christopher Lightwood at this point in the series, so I am excited to find out more about him in Chain of Iron. Moving on to another member of the Merry Thieves, and it's none other than Thomas Lightwood. So I went onto Thomas's description page, and literally all it says is that he has brown hair and hazel eyes. For me, Thomas was really hard because his most striking feature is that he's really jacked, that he's really like beefed up. Again, I am really excited to find out more about Thomas in Chain of Iron, including his relationship with a certain Alistair Carstairs. So I mainly used edits on Tumblr to cast my Thomas, and in the end I decided on Froy Gutierrez, who I feel like is the perfect fit. One of my mutuals on Tumblr also cast Froy as her Thomas, so I feel like this is a pretty solid choice for this casting in particular. From Thomas Lightwood, we move, of course, to Alistair Carstairs. I found casting Alistair quite difficult because I wanted to get someone who looked a little older than my other casting choices, but also who did have that Iranian heritage, because things like that are so important to me when you're doing a dream cast. I saw a few, let's just say, interesting choices for Alistair Carstairs, but I ended up finding my favourite casting from Tumblr. Can you tell that I'm so happy I restarted my Tumblr account at the start of 2020? So my perfect choice for Alistair Carstairs is Tuji, who is an Iranian Norwegian singer, and he was also in Eurovision in 2012. We love to see it. Then of course we have Cordelia. For me, this is probably one of the easiest casting choices, and there is in fact only one perfect choice for this casting. That is of course the Iranian-American actress Medallion Rahimi. Yes, she has brown hair in real life, but the fandom have gone above and beyond in editing her the perfect Cordelia red hair. I feel like I don't even need to explain this one. I'm just going to put the photos up on the screen for you, and you can just like take them in and just appreciate the goddess that is Medallion in playing Cordelia Carstairs. Last but not least, we have our favourite mess of a Shadowhunter, Matthew Fairchild. So I couldn't find anyone of Matthew's actual age who I thought could be good enough to play the King of the Green Carnation himself. Then I saw these photos of a young Jude Law just popping about on my Twitter, and I knew he was the perfect Matthew Fairchild. Look, he even has Matthew's green eyes. I really hope you like this slightly alternative fan cast of Matthew as much as I do. Okay, that's the end of my dream cast. Sorry Charles, I don't like you enough to give you a casting choice. I do hope you have enjoyed the actors and actresses that I've picked for my dream cast for the last hours. Like I said before, if you do have any alternative choices for these characters, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to see what is going on in your head as well. Give this video a like if you have enjoyed it, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Remember to follow me on my Bookstagram for more content, and watch as I count down the days to Chain of Iron and freak out at every fucking snippet that Cassie releases, because if I'm honest, by this point I feel like I've already read the bloody book. But guys, we can do this. There's not much longer to go. I believe in us. Okay, I changed my mind. I feel like I will share some horrible fan casting choices that I saw when I was researching for this video. So in order from least to most offensive, we first have Zendaya as Ariadne. This is obviously wrong on so many levels, I can't even tell you. You just know why this is just not an okay choice. Cara Delevingne as Anna Lightwood. Is that crack you're smoking? And Jacob Elordi as Thomas Lightwood. I can't even justify that with a comment.